Is this what you think of when people say lollipop? Smoked sauce and Rita's shoving your face hole. Meat on a stick. Is there anything better? Do you want to learn how to turn this slab of raw pork belly into this glistening smoked piece of heaven known as a pork belly lollipop? Now, if you're not eating your meat like a lollipop, that should be illegal. Oh, let's get into it. Today, we're smoking pork belly lollipops. Now, cooking time for this recipe is 3 hours and 15 minutes. Or for those of you who love to use my beer timer, you're looking at a 7-beer cook. Cheers. Now, to make this recipe, we're going to need some pork belly. And to be more specific, you're going to need some skinless pork from the midsection of the belly. Midsection pork belly has the most even meat to fat ratio. And I'm lucky when I asked Mick, my butcher, for a piece of pork belly. He asked how big and what's it for and trimmed it to size. So all the trimming's done courtesy of Mick out at Gippsland Premium Meats. I was just lucky enough to go into the butcher's shop when he wasn't really doing a lot, and he seemed to make some time available to help me out really quickly. If you didn't know, pork belly gets its name because it's located on the belly. True, facts. Every time someone gives this video a thumbs up, somewhere in the world someone cooks a steak perfectly. It's time to season the pork belly. Now, pork can handle a lot of various flavors, but since we're making lollipops, let's add some sweetness to the mix. And that's going to start firstly by brushing on some maple syrup and then backing that up with the sweetest rub in your arsenal. And for me, it's this Lane's granulated honey. And it's just pure honey. You just want to give that one side of the belly a good coating. And now we are going to roll it up, keeping the pressure nice and firm. And then we're going to skewer the belly, starting at the flap, holding it all together. And each skewer should be around 2.5 to 3 centimeters apart, as this is how thick we want our lollipops. And as you can see, I'm using superior metal skewers. But if you only have these inferior wooden skewers, make sure you soak them in water for an hour before you use them. Now, it won't stop them from burning in the smoker, but it might remind you to go out and buy some metal skewers that don't need to be soaked. Now, once all skewered and the belly is all secured, grab a large knife and we can start cutting it up. And a large brisket knife is always a good option. And is using a large knife like this overkill? I don't think so. And once we have the lollipops all separated, we can pop them on a wire rack and add some seasoning to the outside. And this is where you can add a little bit of savory and heat. And this 4 Monkeys pork rub has that and more. So I like to apply my rubs from around about 30 centimeters above the food. This just allows the particles in the rub time to separate, and you get much more even coverage, a better bite, and no clumping, which results in every mouthful tasting exactly the same. Now, don't forget to flip them over so it can hit both sides with the rub, and making sure you get the edges as well. And then we can place these aside while we get the smoker ready. Today, I'm using the Z Grill's pellet smoker because I want to be smoking at temps of 120 degrees Celsius today. And it's as easy as adding some pellets. And today I'm using some Barbecuer's Delight contest mix. And then opening the lid, then press the control knob to wake it up, and then press and hold the control knob for 2 seconds to enter the menu and go to fire up and select it. And the fan will start up and that auger will start to spin, and it's going to push pellets down into the fire pod. Place the grill back in carefully, and once you see smoke coming out, you can close the lid and we can allow that temp to rise. And after 2 to 3 minutes, it will beep 3 times and it will show fire lit on the display. Just press it once and set your target temp. And we want 120, whoops, we went a bit too far. We want 120, oh, come on, 120, and press it again to lock it in. And now we can just wait for it to get to temp. Statistics show that most pie graphs are circular in shape. If you share this video with a friend, make sure they watch it. Oh, you're not going to believe this. The smoker's at temp. Just grab the wire rack with the lollipops on it and place them in the smoker. By leaving the lollipops on the rack, it's going to help later on in the cook when we need to glaze them up. Just close the lid and set a timer for 3 hours. 2.5 hours have passed and we are getting close to adding the sauce to these pork belly lollipops. Now you never want to add cold sauce or glaze to the food you're cooking, otherwise that internal temp will drop. Hence why it's always best to warm up your sauce. And for today's cook, I'm using this Korean inspired honey pepper sauce from Cham Cham. It has all the perfect ingredients to bring these lollipops to the next level. You just want to put in about 1/4 cup into a small pot and then add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar and 50 grams of unsalted butter. Place this into the smoker for 30 minutes to warm up. At the 3-hour mark, the lollipop's internal temperature should be reading 74 degrees Celsius or higher. Because pork belly has a high concentration of fat, it won't dry out and it does tend to stay moist. Smart. If you're going to subscribe to the channel, don't forget to hit the bell notification button. That way you'll be notified every time I say the word. We have hit the 3-hour mark, so it is time to get these lollipops out of the smoker. Oh, and look at the colour on these. And we may as well get our warmed up sauce out too. Don't stir at them too long. We want to glaze them up, then flip them over and glaze this side as well. Don't forget the sides and get them back in the smoker and close the lid. And we'll give them 15 minutes for that glaze to tack up and set. Comment below if you want to see more videos about me putting meat on a stick. Time's up, we can get these lollipops out of the smoker. Now this is one of those cooks I wish there was smell-o-vision. I mean, how good does that look?
Lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, lolly, lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, lolly, lolly.
Lollipop. Ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Now serve these up as they are for the perfect appetizer or with sides at your next barbecue. Now when you do cook these up at your next barbecue, your skill level is going to be turned up to Grill Master. Wow,